commences in 30 seconds.
Junkertown. What about Winston Rhyne? Winston Rhyne has seen its very weird uses. Winston Rhyne has seen use in pro play. What the fuck am I doing? Reinhardt. Oh, one last question. How do you submit a VOD? Thanks for answering all the questions. You're very welcome. And the answer, which I assure, yep, mod already got to you. Exclamation mark coach me is the answer for how you submit a VOD. Ham sandwich. If you have a Rhine on a map with lots of high ground, should you still go Diva anyway? Very much depends. But probably. That's really the only good thing is like, but if you are going to be doing that sort of like defense with Rhine, but you like a shield tank, but you need to contest high ground as well, Orisa Diva is a better combo, way better combo than Rhine Diva. So first off, you don't want to really be holding up here because you are not an Orisa, and your shield, basically what they can do is they can spam your shield from either there, or there, or there, and then you're at some point going to have to drop your shield to recharge. So this is not a good place to be, okay? So this is the main choke, right? Between this spot here and this spot here is the main choke. And the reason why this is the main choke, because although it looks like, you know, see how there's buildings inside, you actually can't walk through here. So if you're on the left flank of Blizzard's world, you can't go through this wall. It's a fucking wall. You can't do it. So even if you flank left through Vikings, you have to actually cross through this area to go here, or here, or here, or any of these. So you're holding here on defense. And the reason why I don't really like this composition is twofold. First of all, because anybody who goes through this main choke here can zone you out based on the statue. It gives you the tiniest ass crack ever, and they can go through this right flank here, either all the way up and take the high ground from you, and if they're standing here, then basically what they can do is either spam you back to retreat, or drop and come here and then force you off. And if they force you off this way and the fight is extended, well, your teammates are going to be respawning from there, and they've managed to cut you off from any respawning teammates. So if they get a pick and then kind of just sit here cautiously, they can take their time because you're going to be respawning from that direction, and anybody respawning from there can't get back to their team. So if you are going to hold the low ground, honestly, this is probably a better location. It's a terrible location, but it's probably slightly better. The reason for that is if they actually decide to come up this flank here, you can rotate it, and then you can meet them here, and then you can move back. But if you are going to be doing Reinhardt, and Reinhardt is really not good on first point defense Junkertown, or Choice World, we'll be completely honest. You could stand here, but it's going to be limited. But the primary location you're going to want to stand, if you're playing Reinhardt, is probably going to be like here, honestly. Like using this corner if they go right, or if they come up middle, you can kind of use this corner. You want to play really far back and then kind of push into them, but that's giving them so much space. So there's no real good defense spot on first point Choice World with Reinhardt. There's just really not. Orisa or Winston is pretty much how you play it. If you're going to be holding up on this location here, you want to be going Orisa. And if you're going to be holding on point, either here, like if you're holding here, it's okay. But as they push up, you'd want to retreat to here or here. But Reinhardt would be very hard to play on this map. And then if you're playing Winston, basically you treat this as if it was the Volskaya box, and you'll kind of rotate here if they go right, and rotate here if you go left. But I do not like this position because the routes of retreat aren't in, or the routes of attack rather, aren't in a clear line of sight. And if you do have to take the fight on the point, you and your respawners are being pincered from one another, and they can cut you off. It also gives them control of a very valuable high ground. You know, if they get an Ana up there, for example, and then they play in this area, you know, if they play here, they have basically uninterruptible heals for you. So giving them this high ground sucks. You know, they have that room uncontrolled, and they can pincer you. General thoughts about Blizzworld, but I don't like this initial position that you've taken on Reinhardt. Why does Orisa work on the high ground? Because you have a replenishable shield, right? You can replace it. Whereas Reinhardt, even if you're only receiving like 10 damage per second, eventually your shield will drop and need to be recharged. You can't stay up there forever. Double shield tank is like using two condom, which is pretty much always a bad idea, unless you've got a mastery. But even then it's suboptimal in the current meta. I just went Diva when Hops was playing Ryan on Volskaya B. Volskaya B is like Zarya heaven. I don't know why you'd go Diva there. Status update. Cat finally just hopped up on my lap to nap instead of clawing on my chair. Aw, what a cutie. I've started really liking this map. It seems to have a very dramatic first point compared to other hybrid maps. Like, it's definitely very chaotic, and there's no real one true way to run it. So basically, Orisa or Winston for first point Blizzworld is better for defense. Way better. Yeah, Ryan is the weakest of the three tanks on Blizzworld. What about on attack? Attack, it pretty much has to be Winston, honestly. It pretty much has to be Winston on attack.
Let us hope
No
for a
one
different
can
outcome.
hide from my sight.
Couldn't Anna still heal her team uninterrupted from the high ground, even from the spot you were suggesting? Is it more about being able to safely poke her out? Yeah. Thatcher's like a super massive dick, so double shield condom's alright. You're not wrong, Caged. You're not wrong. And your hands are just kind of like in the open. So they are running... You're actually using the shield cam. I've seen so very few people actually use shield cam, it's ridiculous. Are they running triple tank Widowmaker? What in the hell? I'm not seeing too many things wrong with these charges so far. I don't like that you're holding so far. You want to be holding and working around corners, right? So that's a corner that you're working around, but here you're not in a corner. Here you're just in the middle of a pathway. That's a corner. You want to stay near corners. You don't want to stay near, like, open paths and shit. Nice pin. That is, I suppose, the downside of charging into three tanks. Your team here is more or less playing deathmatch here, where you have the one hands on the high ground, you know, one McCree playing here and there. And, like, the pin wasn't bad. If you had had support, the pin probably... Like, you did a lot of damage while you were there. I don't know how much percent ult charge you got, but you've got it in that Earth Shatter now, so... Your soldier's just deciding to suicide. It's very interesting. So, I don't have much wrong with that pin. It's just that the only thing wrong with that pin was that your team wasn't there to follow you up. And again, you're not running a Zarya or anything that's consistent. You're running a Diva that can help with extremely short bursts of damage, but can't... Your soldier got fucked again. He's having the worst game ever. But yeah, like, you're not running a Zarya. You're not running somebody who can kind of tank some of the damage as well as help you shell out the damage. You're running a Diva. She can protect you from burst damage for 2 seconds, but then the only thing that she really does is she also feeds. So, I mean, the pin was okay, but you just didn't have support from your team, and you should have changed your plan accordingly. There was a tab, no win condition talk? I'll do it on the next... You're trancing. I'll pause and do a win condition talk next time we see it. And the one thing that I really don't like about this is that they're getting free distance, right? So look where the payload is, right? Look where the payload is. And yes, your soldier's been feeding repeatedly and whatnot, but they've pushed it past halfway in Blizzworld and you haven't contested them. So kind of get your shit in a pile and, like, yeah, soldier's feeding, so maybe you have to take a 5-on-6, but taking a fight and losing is better than not taking a fight, because at least while you're fighting, the payload is not moving. And then when you all die, you all regroup together and you defend once more. But letting them get so far without a single team fight really, really sucks. So you're backing up and you're going on a flank, maybe for a meme shatter or something. But you did get a kill onto their McCree. But you need to do something to stop this payload, because it is you as the tank are the one who's picking the engagement, picking where the fight happens, drawing battle lines, stopping the payload from advancing, keeping the payload rolling, all of that. And right now you're just flanking like a tracer.
Attackers incoming.
Oh, so your Diva Bomb actually got 2. Oh, please. Yes. Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of a meme. He survived way longer than he had any right to. Nice hammer down. You were going for the flank hammer down, and I liked it. But again, they pushed it so far for free. Like, look, this entire area that you're looking at, there was no team fights. They pushed that entire distance completely for free. Interesting retreating charge. Oh, I see what they're doing. Ah, it's too bad. You survived, though. So I'm a very firm proponent of aggressive Reinhardts, right? But one of the key differences between the Reinhardts, or like the playstyle that I suggest on Reinhardt, and a lot of Reinhardts seem to be adopting, is look at your health here. This yellow, I like to trade my armor for aggression, but as soon as I'm out of armor, I'll kind of start fluctuating my shield to kind of tank some more of the damage until I'm back into armor. And once I'm in armor, then I consider my armor as my go button. If I have armor, I'm aggressive. If I don't have armor, I'm like, oh, okay, I've got armor, and then I'll start swinging again. But so you're just, by the grace of God, you didn't die. You got a 56, so you're down to 56 health. You're at like 130 here, and then you're like, good enough, let's go fight him. And then you get to like 260. And then you get shot twice, and you're down to 78 health, and you charge anyway, right? So you would never even touch 300. You didn't even stabilize before continuing the fight. So being more aware of your actual shield health and engaging when you're at full health and can be kept at high health based on armor's damage reduction is pretty important. And then actually picking out a location in which your charge will end instead of Narnia is a good second thing to do. Yeah, Harry Butcher does shit like that all the time. I love him. Hey, Demo, how you doing? Don't go out. Yep, good. Jane is a tracer. My button to kill the Rhine is when he doesn't have armor, as in he is one clip range. Stamp is what you're saying. Yep. Where did you... That's so funny. I like the aggression here. You just need hammer. You need hammer. Oh my god, please. No, you missed your fire strike. Oh, you're dead. You've got hammer, though. This could be huge. Yes! Oh my god, that was great. I want to bask. Please, fire striker. No. So your fire strike actually... words are hard. Your fire strike accuracy kind of sucks.
60 seconds remaining.
So again, right? We're talking about this. Fuck. Where the hell were we? You're like here? Oh, I think we were a little bit farther back. Yeah. No, we were like here. Here.
30 seconds remaining.
So, right? You're kind of here. So let's look at this position here. And I can't really enough how important it is for Reinhardt's to corner.
Nice.
Okay, so you were standing pretty much here, right? You were standing more or less in the open, like this. Where you have a corner here, where if you had been standing here, pretty much, your team could still be very well protected by that shield. You know, it's showing, so maybe you'd want to be like that, so that the shield doesn't totally rock, so you'd want to be like here-ish. But that covers the natural cover of the wall itself, kind of augments your shield, and it still gives a very large amount of cover for your team to shoot them. If you think about the sight lines, it means that less of your shield is actually open, but you can still protect your team and give them a firing line. It also allows you the ability to, you know, fire strike like there, and then you can still just hold this location. Then if you want to move up, instead of holding in the center like this, you'd move up to this wall here, and then you can whoop, peek fire strike. And the other thing is that you can swing past this cover while being protected by more or less the actual direct shots from the opponent. So yeah, this is, you want to be going from corner in order to augment your shield into natural cover, and if you get forced back, you get forced back to the cover, and then if you get forced to retreat, you retreat to this corner, and then you retreat to this corner, and then you would just retreat to, you'd probably switch to this corner, honestly, to this corner here. Or, no, this corner, well, this corner's actually not that bad. But yeah, the last thing you want to be doing as Reinhardt is standing in the open, because then you can kind of see the gap between each of the shields. If they have a Widowmaker, for example, and they see a person behind a shield and he's walking to cover, the gap between the shield and the wall can be shot through, and your entire shield cross-section is fucking massive. So yeah, it's just going to take way more damage and break quicker, whereas if you augment the shield with natural cover and then fire strike, it'll stay up longer, still give your team cover, and allow you to actually kind of, you know, move up. And if they did get too close to your wall, fuck them. Bash the shit out of them around corners, because Reinhardt has a really weird hitbox when it comes to corners like that. And then, not sure if you saw that or not, but basically, if you just a extra Reinhardt tip, right? If you're using your look around camera and then you hit your ult, you won't ult forward, you'll look in the direction of the camera. So if you want to do like a perfect flick or something like that, you can kind of like look behind you. I'll show it again to you. You turn on yeah, I like to give out random bonus tips. McCree or Soldier for this stretch of this world? Probably McCree. So yeah, if you are using your shield, with right click, but you're looking in a direction with left click, and you want to shatter behind you, for example, if you just click your ult, you'll turn automatically. So, cool tip. That's a fun tip too. If you want to like bait shatter, for example, yeah, just be like, and then slam behind you. So, fire strike works too. That's less useful, I guess, but yeah, I suppose. Does it work? Oh yeah, it does work. Okay, so fire strike will make you turn around instantly as well. Does charge work? No, charge sends you forward. So yeah, right, turn around, fire strike. Whee! Anyway, bonus rhyme tip. It doesn't work with charge, no. It'd be great if I ever actually used the reverse camera on Ryan. Yeah, anybody who played Ryan before the reverse camera came out has not been able to break that habit. And we can watch this pro shatter again. So yeah, you're just standing way too much in the open. And you got sent into Narnia. You missed that fire strike. Your fire accuracy strike, like, let's let's play the game of count the missed fire strikes, right? As a Reinhardt main, you can't afford to be missing fire strikes because that dictates exactly how many hammers you get in a game. You can't afford to be missing them. So you hit the shield in the Lucio, but you missed the two beefy tanks in front. And then you get bounced up by the charge, you charge your wall, Your Fire Strike misses everyone. Oh no, it does accidentally hit the Mercy in the background, but again, you missed the 2 BP tanks. His shield breaks. You Fire Strike and miss. You charge and miss. You finally get Hammer. You slam. Fire Strike. You should have Hammer canceled into Fire Strike. And you missed that Fire Strike. So almost every Fire Strike you launched, all 6 of them, had something wrong with them. So yes, you're playing Reinhardt, but your mechanics matter. Because it dictates how much damage you do. It dictates, you know, how much, like how quickly you're getting your ultimates, as well as after you ultimate, it dictates how quickly you get to your next ultimate. And we've talked about this. How many times do we talk about this every time we look at a Reinhardt?